CBS 13 will arm you with everything you need to know. CBS 13 First Alert Weather, only on the CBS News. Whether you have a slow drain or a major plumbing challenge, the good folks at Bonnie Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air are the folks to call.
Call the Bonnie experts today, 916-361-1676, or just go to Bonnie.com, BONNEY.com.
Sky Limit at the new Sky River Casino. Sign up for the Sky River Rewards Club today and take your loyalty further with rewards that add up and up. Opening this fall in Elk Grove. Visit skyriver.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Revive Men's Health is now helping men in shape fast with M-Sculpt Neo. On average, patients experience 25% more muscle mass and 30% less fat with M-Sculpt Neo. There is a better way with M-Sculpt Neo. Take the first step. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Give your family peace of mind. Get an automatic generator with expert installation from Sierra Pacific. You see them everywhere, the guys in the big red trucks. Visit them at SierraPacificHome.com.
It's your summer travel soundtrack. Whether you're hitting the road, taking a flight, or hanging out by the pool, you can take your favorite radio station with you everywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app. Enjoy tons of playlists filled with summer anthems like Songs of Summer, Yacht Rock, Beach Vibes, and Kids Summer, plus all the podcasts. You can escape the heat with chilling true crime podcasts, or soak up the sun with some comedy fun, and so much more. It's all free, and it's all waiting for you now on the iHeartRadio app. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
When you dream. So let's dream of a vacation unlike any other. A magical Disney cruise.
Hiya, pal!
Where new stories meet tales as old as time.
Enchanté, mon ami.
And your family will be cared for the moment you step aboard. Book a limited time sailing from San Diego and get ready for a dream come true with Disney Cruise Line. Now, get a taste of what's to come. With 15 unique restaurants, it's one unforgettable experience. Opening this fall in Elk Grove. Visit skyriver.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. You'll find places for every diet and appetite, including locally sourced and organic produce, sustainably sourced meats and seafood, and a healthy balance of natural foods and best-selling brands. Their free Something Extra Health program supports your wellness goals and gives you one-on-one access to their nutrition advisors. More choices in every department. More nutrition on every shelf. More savings for every shopper. Rayleigh's One Market is the one store for every lifestyle and appetite. Now open in Roseville at the corner of Blue Oaks Boulevard and Vitament Road.
It's thrilling, it's chilling, and it's waiting for anyone brave enough to take it on. Zoomerang at Golfland Sunsplash is California's first and only rocket blast water coaster, shooting you through heart-pounding twists and turns at zooming speed. Take on Zoomerang, along with 30 rides and attractions like Double Dare, Thunder Falls, and more, all for one low price. Daily specials are online at Golfland.com, so don't miss your chance to ride Zoomerang if you dare. Only at Golfland Sunsplash in Roseville.
Ready to break free? Norwegian's Freedom Sale is back with our best deal of the year. Book today and get 70% off second guest on all cruises all over the world. Plus, enjoy free open bar, free specialty dining, free airfare for second guest, and much more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe. Feel free. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Like a ruby or a sapphire, we have those too. Hand-selected for their beauty and brilliance by Tom Shane himself. We want this to be fun and easy for you guys. Our jewelry consultants don't work on commissions, so it's a different kind of vibe here. No one's going to push you to make a decision. You already made one of the biggest decisions of your life. And one more thing. Shane Company offers a free lifetime warranty that even covers the center stone. When it comes to having your jewelry taken care of, you're set for life. By the way, congratulations.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This is a new kind of checking account. Say hello to 1% cash back on eligible debit card purchases. Say hello to getting your paycheck up to 2 days early. And say hello to no overdraft fees, no monthly fees, no account fees, no fees, period. Now, say goodbye to other banks forever. Discover Cashback Debit. Discover Bank member FDIC. See terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit.
You always regret it. Soon everything starts to hurt. Your feet, your ankles, your knees. And that part of you thought was still young, it hurts too.
Don't have the same regret with roadside assistance. Join AAA, America's most recommended roadside service with the highest customer satisfaction. Become a member for as little as $5 a month at AAA.com. AAA, outsmart life.
1350 AM, KCVR, Stockton, Modesto, 1570 AM.
Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code VALLEY for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code VALLEY. Use code VALLEY for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Owning a house is big, bigger than loans and down payments. It's an oasis, a restaurant, a theater. It's home. At Golden One, we get it. Big or small, we work with you to reach your goals. And as a not-for-profit credit union, we'll help you find better loans and rates. So owning your home is more possible than ever. So join us. Let's make your dream home happen. Equal Housing Opportunity, NMLS number 669333.
They're made of microplastics and they line our streets and waterways. On California beaches, they're the #1 plastic you'll find. Over 35 years, cleanups have collected millions combined. But no matter where you see them, they're all getting smaller, eventually leaching into our food, our air, our water. The tobacco industry's to blame for all of the harm that they do. For the harm to the people we love, and the harm to you too. Learn more at undo.org.
Is a disease and not a choice, but getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
There's nothing like seeing your name on something, and putting your name and homeowner together can mean continuing your family's legacy. The Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people take the first step, offering home buyers up to $10,000 towards their down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America NA, Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Introducing USPS Connect Local. You want speed? We deliver same or next day. You want savings? We give you supplies at a flat rate. You want less legwork? We do free pickups. Move your local business forward with the United States Postal Service. Let's connect at USPSconnect.com/local. Specific markets. Restrictions apply. Same day or next day delivery expected, but not guaranteed with entry close to final destination.
At prices that won't hold you back, Staples has you covered.
I need it all. Notebooks, folders, crayons, and a unicorn backpack.
Everything on my list, in stock and price low.
Staples has you covered with everything your student needs for school. This week, Staples one-subject notebooks are just 35 cents each. Plus, Polly Pocket folders and Crayola 24-count crayons are only 50 cents each. Don't send your kids back to school. Send them forward at Staples, the working and learning store. N79 in-store only, limit 30.
Slipknot, Rob Zombie, Evanescence, Friday Night, Kiss, Lamb of God, Saturday Night, Papa Roach, My Chemical Romance, A Day to Remember, Sunday Night, Shinedown, The Pretty Reckless, Bring Me the Horizon, 4
days, over 80 bands. Find all festival info at krxq.net.
But at Valley Strong Credit Union, we know it takes a valley. A valley where people work hard all day and still find time to volunteer. A valley where we support our neighbors and find strength in community. Financial Center Credit Union is now Valley Strong, where we value our members with top-of-the-line products, competitive rates, digital banking options, and conveniently located branches. Learn more about all our member benefits at valleystrong.com. Valley Strong, the strong in all of us.
Hey, let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Charlton of Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love sports. And that's all that matters. Bravo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. I love saying welcome to the show. Today is a beautiful July the 5th, 2022. And I survived the freaking fireworks that are not legal. My goodness, I felt like I was like a UFO was doing fireworks. Shaking everything. Even wet my pants. My goodness, that's not the 4th of July. That was like war. Where'd they get those fireworks? Doesn't make any sense, but I will say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. Best Cadillac in the world. When you go buy and test drive yours, tell them I need some gas money. If they can make cars run on whatever they were using for fireworks last night. Man, they were loud. They were so loud. Man, you can follow Big C Sports Podcast all over the universe on 23 podcast applications. You can find us on Google. You can find us on Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker Podcast, Apple, iHeartRadio Podcast, CastBox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, number 10, Podchaser. Let me catch my breath. Give me some praise. Try counting to 10. When lightning was going off, or were there fireworks, whatever it was, that stuff was not legal. Somebody's been up to something. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on Geo Savan Podcast out of London, England, as well as, hey, Wimbledon's over there, as well as India. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, and the only one that scares me is no. All Feeds.ai, the UFOs have landed, and they're stealing horses. May that distract. I think sometimes when people say they saw a UFO, man, that thing came out of the sky and darted, it spun around, and it disappeared. I said, there's rumors we had lightning strikes in the area. Oh, a friend of mine from Florida said he almost got hit by lightning. This is too close to home. He's okay, but he said it felt so warm. You can also follow Big C Sports streaming OTT on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon and Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. I think some lightning's been hitting my podcast lately. It's been shutting off. Some people say, good grief, they pulled the plug. No, they didn't pull the plug. Oh, Lord, shenanigans, man. Just when you start doing the great, shenanigans show up. You can also just follow Big C Sports, as I mentioned, streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms. Really do appreciate that. I love paying homage to my family legacy. On my beautiful mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mamo. She was beautiful, loving, kind, very loving, always made sure there's lots of food in the belly and lots of love in the heart. And when she had to, she said, boy, go get me a switch. I done told you, stay out of your great-granddaddy's barn. You know he's working on lightning. This stuff is real, man. Life is so funny. And I really do appreciate him. And then my great-grandfather, I can't stop laughing. Pop, he was a former military man and also former Negro League baseball player before people even heard of Jackie Robinson. He would always say, that pitch struggled, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run, say hello to my little friends. And the girls love the long ball, men love to hit deep. Known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. If it's in, boys, get out of that barn now. Me lightning strike. It's funny, lightning. My friend said he almost got hit by lightning in Florida. I gotta stop talking about that. It's not funny when it gets closer home. Anyway, life is funny. And then, really appreciate Bob. He can fix anything. Duct tape and a water bottle. That's where I got that from. He can fix anything with duct tape and a water bottle. Unless he was turning on the power to the house. Electric tape and a water bottle. Not duct tape. You're gonna do with electricity? Make sure it's electric tape. If not, it may feel like lightning struck you. He can fix anything. Really do appreciate him. Very intelligent man. And then my beautiful grandmother called her a mud dish. She was a seer. She could look at people, tell you a lot about their past, present, and future. In fact, she warned me when I got shot. She said, get away. And you know, I got away. But like a lot of men, I didn't get away quite far enough. Like my friend who almost got hit by lightning. He said it was thunder and lightning in Florida. And he goes outside. Why would you go outside when you see the lightning and the thunder? He said, man, it felt so warm. Most people, they don't go outside when trouble happens. They go inside. Oh, life is so funny. But then my great-grandmother, very loving, kind, always just did whatever she could to keep the family strong. Really do appreciate that. Then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful man who always did what he could to keep the family strong. Really do appreciate him. And then I could always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also helped win the Little League Championship of the universe. All boys team, she coached us, and she helped us win the Little League Championship. The only black woman in the league. You can imagine how much crap she went through. A lot of these white Christians said, I will not have my kids listen to one of them. And she would tell them quit. And then when we got close to winning league, they wanted to join the team. She said, no, I don't like winners. I don't like whiners and people who quit. So go ahead and quit. Oh, Lord, life is funny. Could always depend on my mama, the best person I've ever met in my life. And then on my father's side, my great-grandfather, actually my grandfather, Albert Curry, he was a pastor. He had 2 churches in Oakland, built the 3rd one in Central California, and had 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft and the other on Foothill. They were Shell stations, and he owned those. And he also owned 40 acres of land, like the Emancipation Proclamation with Frederick Douglass and President Abraham Lincoln, when we had our real Independence Day. We were supposed to receive 40 acres and a mule. And based on the 4th of July, the United States of America celebrate the 4th of July. Well, black people weren't free. But you got to go forward. But it's a fact. We weren't free. And even Frederick Douglass said, I don't know why I'm to celebrate. We don't have our freedom. But it's still about going forward, but not forgetting the past. And Juneteenth really is Black history for Independence Day. That's when all the slaves were announced free 2 years later after it really happened. But it's all fair and love and war. Got to go forward as a country. And I really appreciate how my grandfather owned the 40 acres, just like the Emancipation Proclamation. When Lincoln was assassinated, President Andrew Johnson came along and said he vetoed the bill and gave the land to white landowners and told black Americans, you just got to work harder. A lot of things have been happening like that. Unfortunately, we had that shooting in a suburb of Chicago, and they found the alleged perpetrator, and they arrested him. And he was actually in his car when they had him get down on the ground after shooting, I believe, 25 people, and 6 people lost their lives. Well, he's still alive. There was a black man running from police, and they shot him. I think he was hit 60 times. So the white guy that killed 6 people and shot 25, still alive. Black man running from police, they killed him. We just need more, whatever we need. Independence, I don't know what it is. The only thing, I don't understand it. There's still people that say, yeah, well, he shouldn't have been running. Well, so was the guy who shot 25 people. He was running too. He was in his car and they surrounded him. He's still alive though. He's white. And so people say, well, Black Lives Matter. People are treated differently in this country. Just differently. If you can't see that now, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm glad I learned a lot about things like that growing up, that I wasn't just be a sycophant to touchdown, home run, 3-point play, old man winning. He's going all the way. A lot of guys do that. So I love blending what I do with my sports, but it's real. I can't fake the funk. I can't pretend like I just want to read you a score. I'll do some of that too. But I just want to reach out to a few people, because you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. But I don't even want to say thoughts and prayers. It seems like it's just like it's obtuse. Thoughts and prayers are with those victims. How are thoughts and prayers with people when this just shouldn't have happened that way? 4th of July was supposed to be people getting together and celebrating. If you don't want to get together, don't get together. But shooting people? I don't know. Hey, just stick to sports, man. Just stick to sports. Can't do that. That wasn't raised to be that dumb. Even though sometimes I play dumb on TV. But really, it's just a shame that some people think you gotta take a gun to a 4th of July celebration and shoot people. Doesn't make any sense. Don't understand it. Always gotta go forward in life. As like my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, worked with my grandfather with the 2 churches in Oakland, building the 3rd one in Central California, and also running the 2 gas stations in Oakland on Foothill and Bancroft, 2 Shell stations. And when I was 8 years old, she touched me on my forehead in Oakland, in her house, walking down the hallway on my usual route to go get some cookies. She said, "There's something about your voice I love hearing you speak." I thought she was going to say, "No more cookies, young man," but that's not what she said. And now Big C Sports is syndicated all over the world. Give that some praise, because it didn't happen that way. It didn't start out that way. I love telling that story. And lately been having some issues with the podcast platform cutting off. They say it's technology, and they're working on it. They say, "I'm working on it." Well, they're working on it. That's okay. I've seen that happen before, what sometimes is called shenanigans. But I've seen it happen before. Sometimes even the mothership cuts off soon. But it's all fair in love and war. And I really do appreciate so many great things about just being able to do the show. And when my grandmother, Alberta Curry, did that for me, I really do appreciate that. That's partly why Big C Sports Podcast is on today, because the right people have been praying on me. Not everybody pulls for you. Some people want to pull you apart and tear you apart, and then they want to celebrate when they go to God and ask God for favor. But I always believe in building people up. And I've seen so much junk in our country right now where people are just shooting other people. It doesn't make any sense. If you don't agree with somebody, just leave them alone. Wow. But maybe that's why it happens. Everybody says, "Hey, who won the game, man? Just tell me who won the game." It doesn't make any sense. There was a high school football coach that was gunned down in Northern California over the weekend at a nightclub. Why? I believe have metal detectors before you let someone into a nightclub nowadays. It just doesn't make any sense. Well admired in the community, Northern California. Can only say thoughts and prayers so much. It's just a shame. Doesn't make any sense. Celebrating the 4th of July, life's over. 31-year-old man. Couldn't even say bye to the people that he loved. And maybe while he was alive, maybe people weren't even talking. That's how some people choose to get down. But don't hurt each other. I mean, who am I to say? People do what they want to do. I just know some of the people who knew the coach. And it's different when you know of people who know that person. It's one thing when it's just some random person on television. All thoughts and prayers. But when you know of people who know that person, it's painful. Just got to keep going forward. I remember when my grandfather talked about so many stories that I like to incorporate now when I do my show. It's not just about me and reading scores. I think about things that I learned from grandparents and parents. Always told us to get along and just treat people the way you want to be treated. Not everybody's going to do that. Some people will spend their life trying to burn down somebody else's house. They will try it, and then they beg God for forgiveness. But life is about going forward. You have to always go forward. I appreciate my father, former Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, making sure that planes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. I remember he told me about the SR-71. Oh my God, I saw that on the news over the weekend. They were talking about military planes And the SR-71 it could fly at Mach 3, could get from the East Coast to the West Coast about 2 hours. That's over 3,000 miles. That plane could pick him up and lay him down. It's amazing. And then my father always said, develop your mind to its highest extent. In the Air Force, my father's roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., he played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, and directed by Spike Lee and the great Denzel Washington, my favorite actor. Just a lot of good things that go on in life that I really do appreciate, and how I like tying that part of the story into what I do with the Big C Sports Podcast. It's not just about me. It's not just about, you can Google a score of what happened with somebody. But going back in the broadcast, I'm not the first one in my family to do broadcast. I grew up around it. I grew up listening to the fights all the time when my grandparents would listen to the fights. And they loved Ali, of course, and Frazier. And they were obviously the marquee fighters back in the day. And that's a lot of what I try to bring to my podcast. It's not just me. And hopefully someday, then my family members, my son and my daughter, if they understand that podcasting is a way of expressing yourself and bringing in income. Everybody's doing it now. Even Katie Couric has a podcast. She's very quiet on her podcast. She's not loud like me, but she's very quiet. But she's doing it. Very quiet, but she does it. Give her praise for trying it. But everybody's trying to get into it now. But at the same time, I love being able to do something that was done by my grandparents, my parents. Mom always involved in the church, very active. Just a lot of good things in life that I benefited from. And now having conversations to have Big C Sports on national media in front of the NFL for 2022. And I'm one beautiful black man, erudite, smart, intelligent, even funny at times, even if it's just me laughing. But at the same time, people are listening. And that gives me I want to give those people praise for acknowledging Big C Sports Podcast and how it is different. And that's good to be different, because I'm still going to build Big C Sports into a $1 billion entity. Just like Bob Johnson built BET into a $1 billion entity. And he didn't have the platforms that I'm on. And I thank God for that, because you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. It's going to happen. It's already happening. And that's why if I can inspire any young kid, especially black kids, who oftentimes we live in a country where people try to divide black families, and usually they're white when they're doing it. And there are people who, when a white man shoots 25 people at a parade, he walks away in handcuffs. Black man runs from the police, he got shot 60 times. And people say we don't have racial issues in this country. That's the same mentality that tried to break down black families. The criminal justice system is recruiting too. People say, oh, USC, UCLA, they left the Pac-12 to join the Big Ten, so now they can play in 30-degree kickoff instead of 65-degree kickoff. But they're not the only ones recruiting black men. It's called the criminal justice system. There's a thing that happened in California, I'm going to talk about it more during the summertime, where people are working in prisons, mostly black boys, for 8 cents an hour by privatized prisons that are owned by white corporations. Touchdown! Home run! 3-point play! Old man Willie! He's working for 8 cents an hour. It is up against the California legislature to overturn that. And people just want to see who won the game. Just tell me the score, man. And as I tell young black boys, when you look around yourself and you see nobody that looks like you, you're being set up. Because that same group of people would never do it to their own. And it's a shame. It's a shame that many of us get opportunities in sports and we get so quiet and all we talk about is who won the game, man. Hey, man, who won the game? And kids are being taken out. Doesn't make any sense. Not any sense whatsoever. I was watching a program on television over the weekend, 4th of July, and they were talking about spring break. And there was a white police officer after white police officer trying to let white kids go home when they were drunk in public, disorderly conduct, fist fighting, and they didn't want to arrest them. They kept giving them chances. And they were just pulling over black kid after black kid to see if they had valid driver's license or registration. This is 2022. I'm not talking 1922. Still happening to this day. And all they want, hey man, just tell me the score. I can't be that. But my platform is prospering anyway. Give prospering some praise. Give it praise, praise, praise. Sometimes God works in mysterious ways. But if there's even only one person in the universe that wants to open the door wider for black Americans, it's going to be Big C Sports. I'm not a sycophant. I am not going to be like everybody else. If you don't like it, like my mother told the people that want to quit the baseball team, quit. Listen to somebody else. But when I'm dead and gone, hopefully somebody will have listened. You know what? Charlton talked about that before. Black man running for police shot 60 times. White man that shot 25 people, killed 6. They handcuffed him and took him to jail. Can't make this stuff up. Man, just tell me who won the game. And that's part of the problem. I love getting into this because my father always said, always develop your mind to its highest extent. Never told to be a sycophant. And then my beautiful brother Todd always saying, go forward. Our favorite movie was actually, it was Scarface, but that wasn't good for Christmas for the holidays. So we set it on Pulp Fiction. And I watched it, Vin Rames. I got to make a correction. He said, your butt goes down in the 5th round. I've been saying 4th round because it's 4 quarters in a football game and 4 in a basketball game. And our favorite scene was when Vin Rames told Bruce Willis, he said, your butt goes down in the 5th round. I've been saying 4th round so I don't plagiarize. He said, say that blip. He said, okay, my butt goes down in the 5th round or 4th round based on me. And he told him, that stinking sensation you're feeling, that's pride rubbing with you. And as he told him, he said, fuck pride. And I love bringing it up because I see it in a lot of games. I see it in so many games and how things just happen the way they come out. So always doing that, honor Todd, and really do appreciate that. And my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. A smart, beautiful young woman, college graduated with 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years, and can be anything she wants to be. But I love saying this too, because this is part of my legacy. As long as they don't turn off my recording, I guess they said they fixed the shenanigans. But it's so important. Only one black girl in the history of the United States of America, my daughter. She set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. The only time in the history of the United States of America that Salem Media with 144 stations started airing ABC, or I'm going to say NFL Monday Night Football. The only time they've ever aired on the Wall Street Business Network. 2 black men made that happen. And then some of the people at the station, they created shenanigans. They would rather have white guys do it. Later, the NFL came in. Well, they created shenanigans, made it difficult. Oh, these guys, they're nothing. If they can do it, we can get other guys to do it. And they sabotaged 2 black men in the crew. They brought in 2 white guys, and a short time after that, the NFL said, fuck pride. And they pulled the program, and it's not on there anymore. It had only happened once in the history of the United States of America to have the NFL broadcasting Monday Night Football games on the Wall Street Business Network. They normally would go to ESPN. And they didn't go to them. They went to where we were. And instead of supporting black men and making all of that money, they tried shenanigans, and they lost all that money, and now they're having layoffs. But I guess that's how they wanted it. And that's what a lot of people do to black men now. I want to make sure that I touch on those things, not just who won a game. But it's all fair and level where my show's a little bit different. Now that I got my voice back, oh my goodness, aloe vera water, Dr. Tischer's antiseptic and honey, and of course, gargle with peroxide. Of course, I've eaten cough drops like it was eye blinks. Every time I blink my eyes, I put a cough drop in, and that worked. But I'm going to say something that don't try this at home, because sometimes gasoline vapors would clear my throat. My grandfather had the gas stations. I don't think he was ever sick, but something about the vapors, they would kill the whatever was in my throat. It's out now. It wasn't COVID. My doctor said it was just a little viral infection. People get junk. It's all in the air. But either way, it's better now. I want to say, give being better now some praise. Some people say, oh, crap. But anyway, I love that. But Daisy did that. Also helped me set up when college coaches that come to the West Coast and do work with Big C Sports. Love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Don't let anyone bamboozle you or hoodwink you, because people will try. They've done it to your family members that you don't even know, where people would rather see them fail than succeed. And they tell all kind of crap about them. But when they show up, you got to rise and shine. You got to always rise and shine. And then my beautiful son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, smart, erudite, bright. Wakanda forever. Never let anyone come between you and your family. Google the 1619 Project. Understand that. The Willie Lynch letter. Understand that society's different. Don't let people think you, oh, touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. Don't just be an athlete. There are people who would try to divide and conquer black families, especially get rid of black men. Been happening since 1619. That's why I say always look around and look at the faces. Do you see people who look like you? If you don't, you're being hoodwinked, you're being bamboozled, because they would never do that to their own. It's been happening since 1619. Don't let anyone do that to you. Always say that. And then Big C, with all of his wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. I love doing what my great granddaddy said back in the day. Coming out of that barn, he said, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. After nominated Big C Sports Podcast. No scripts, no scripted teleprompters, no producer in my ear. My show is fresh daily, like the Krispy Kreme donut that I gotta get them fast. Man in the line, impatient as I may be, got to the front of the line. I said, I don't need a bag, just pour my hand. And they did, and it burned. Kind of like lightning, like the lightning that almost hit my friend in Florida. And I said, ouch. And they said, sir's company policy, we put in the bag. I said, now I understand. But I love doing the show. I love where it's going. I always honor God. I walk and talk by faith, not by sight. I always produce the show. I always direct the topics. I broadcast the shows. I do the sound effects based on the platform that's provided by the agency. We can all use more laughter in our life. I know I can. And then the commercials are done, the stats provided, the storytelling, the play-by-play. I'll get into that if I have time. Runners on first and third, the pitch. Swung on, hit deep. Right field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friend. Girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep. All friend, love and warm. I upload the show. It goes out to 23 multiple podcast applications all over the universe. And then I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back on September 12, 2015. I'm one of the only sports shows. Oh, I got to get my producer to wake up. He's still hungover from fireworks. The only sports show in the universe that always honors God. I love quoting scripture. In Genesis 13:15, it says, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. In the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, you have not because you ask not. If you want something, just ask. The answer is either yes or no. You got to ask. If the answer is no, say, why'd you say no? What make you say no? I want to know. And maybe you'll get to that. Always ask. Always be persistent. Romans 4:17, speak things that be not as though they were. But the one I really love is the one that's open door for Big C Sports, about to be shown all over the country now in front of NFL football, is in when Moses met God behind my great-granddaddy's barn. I knew my great-granddaddy's barn had to be the place because there was always something burning. People called it a burning bush. But we thought maybe it's barbecue pit. He barbecued. He liked all of his meat dark. Dark like the road. We didn't know if we were eating charcoal or chicken. May Latin stretch. He liked everything dark. Life is funny, man. But when God told Moses, go down there and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And Moses said, well, who do I tell him sent me? And God said, tell him I am sent you. That's a pretty tough name, I am. But according to scripture, Moses was telling God, I'm nervous, I'm afraid to speak in front of people, and I'm not the most elegant. Can you find somebody else to do it? And God said, according to Exodus 4:12, it said, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. If you want to do something, just ask God for favor and do the best you can. I was praying that my voice would come back, and now it's back. And I thank God for that. Sports betting is really a problem in this country. So much of a problem that you see this PSA almost every sports show now. 800 Gambler. You know, people going through issues. Buy Lotto, Fantasy 5, Powerball, Mega Million, whatever it is. They don't come looking for you if you don't pay up. If you got a gambling problem, 800 Gambler. Some people are in over their heads. Betting on games. Betting on touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, man, Willie. He's going all the way. Genesis 1. I mean, it's all fair and level. Where I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast Spotlight, and Effect TV for presenting BC Sports. Oh, my goodness, to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, let there be light. Open your cell phones or electronic devices and just say play Big C Sports Podcast. It will pop up someplace. I love saying, especially for our Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know anyone going through issues, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net and give them some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. My goodness. A lot of veterans need help. Imagine how people could be shocked and traumatized by the 4th of July, the fireworks. And that's what it was really like in wartime, when our veterans had to go through crap and just deal with a lot of things. It wasn't very, very nice to be a part of that. And so really it makes me think. I love giving out that Veterans Crisis Hotline, because I know it's helping the people. Even if I don't know the people personally, really love giving that out. Also want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching that big game, you want to eat the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all sorts of exotic meat. It has to taste better in your mouth than it does in your hand, like the great Joey Chestnut that put somebody in a headlock. I didn't know that Joey Chestnut was from Vallejo, California. He's from the Bay Area, the North Bay. Vallejo, California. Isn't that something? And now he won another hot dog eating contest, and somebody came up on the stage, and there's a lot of starving people. So I even feel, I mean, what are you going to do? You got a guy eating 9,000 hot dogs, and there are people in line trying to get food. And so, I mean, you can't solve every problem, but to me, it's kind of hard to watch it this year when I see so many people that are in need, and they're all over television, and you just see, man, I don't even know what to say. But there's a lot of cities where people are just, they're out of luck, out of gas, whatever it is. And here's a guy that eats 90,000 hot dogs for what? That make any sense. But just like I said, Budweiser Zero tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. And hopefully coming soon, the Big C Coffee. The only complaint that I heard is, Curry, why does your cup got to be so big? I say, take what you need, pour the rest in a smaller cup for somebody else. The Big C Cookie, my mother beat me to it in college. She sent me this cookie. It's called Bear Claws. And some of my roommates were stealing. They say, Curry, why does the cookie got to be so big? And I said, get out of my bag. Me Latin is strike. All fair and level, where they say it's easier to ask for forgiveness and permission. But I want to touch on some things in sports. I really feel great having my voice back. For desserts for the 4th of July, whether it's the Big C pie, it tastes yummy in my tummy, sweet potato pie, peach cobbler pie, cherry pie, German chocolate fantasy pie, German chocolate cake, tastes so good, make you go, ooh yeah. Love eating some great pies over the weekend. Really do appreciate that. And I just want to touch on some things that happened over the weekend that obviously 4th of July, people are still trying to travel and get back home. But Supreme Court sworn in Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, first black woman on the United States Supreme Court, replacing Stephen Breyer, who retired. And so congratulations to her. And may she adjudicate fairly, if that makes sense to you. And then also in the world of NFL, it's not even NFL football, it's UFL football. It's amazing how so many games and so many things in life are being celebrated. And we wonder where we're going to go with sports leagues and trying to celebrate more championship games. But I do know, and I hope that Brittany Griner, gets released from Russia, but you just never know what's going on. I know they started her trial. I hope that she gets released, but how do you know? Detente depends on a lot of things. Not when you go into a foreign country, you got to know what you're up against, because I mean, things can hurt if you don't understand that. I know everybody has their own thoughts about that, and you only have so much time in life. If you're going to travel to a foreign country, you got to know the laws there, because I know it just seems like so many people are caught up. They seem to legalize marijuana everywhere you go. You can be drinking and driving, or driving under the influence with alcohol or marijuana. And there were so many law enforcement out. I heard over 1,000 people in California alone got pulled over and arrested for driving under the influence, whether it's alcohol or some type of drug. They have to go to jail. That's 1,000 people. Why would they do that? I don't know. They could legalize a lot of things, but it doesn't mean you should do it. But I know people will do what they want to do, especially grown folks. They say, I'll do what I want to do. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Used to be a favorite song. But I don't know what to say. I would just say, young kids, whenever someone's trying to get you to sell drugs or to use drugs, if ever you get arrested, ask them where they go to jail for you and serve time for you, and see what they say. What will they say? The people that introduced you to drugs, or told you, or they sold you the drugs, or told you to use the drug, when you get in trouble for it, are they willing to go to jail for you? I mean, that's a valid question, because it doesn't make sense. And now there are people who got their license revoked over the weekend, 1,000 people. When you get a DUI or driving under the influence, I think the fine can be $10,000 if it's a DUI under alcohol. I don't know what it is under marijuana or other narcotics. But that's at least 1,000 people that got their license revoked over the weekend because they were pulled over by CHP. That's just California alone. Is it really worth it? You couldn't wait till you got to your destination to drink some libations? I guess the answer was no. Doesn't make any sense to me, but people do what they want to do. But I doubt if anyone that gave them the drugs or the alcohol was willing to go to jail for them. I know that didn't happen, because that's not how people get down. I would just hope that young people listen. You don't have to listen to me, but at least listen to some. I want to talk more about this USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. And now there's talks that the University of Oregon with Phil Knight and University of Washington, they want to join the Big Ten also, so that they can make sure that all of their kids can graduate on time. Right? It's all about the money. They want to do it for the money, and if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. But college football, USC and UCLA, they announced they're going to join the Big Ten to have better academics. But think about this. 10 other schools have reached out to discuss joining the Big Ten Conference, according to the Wall Street Journal. And more teams will do it because it's a money grab. And college football is big business. Money is everything, always has been. Ecclesiastes 10:19, the feast is made for laughter, wine maketh merry. But money answers all things. Money is everything now. The ACC commissioner, they talked about joining a conference. The SEC would make more sense for them. But we're going to end up having the NFL and college football resemble each other. You have the AFC and the NFC. You have division champions in each division, like the AFC East, NFC East, AFC West, NFC West. And college football is looking like it's going to go there. And you don't want to devalue what happens with college education, but it's all about business now. We know that. But when you think about it, Oregon has a lot of money because of Phil Knight. And then Washington, they have the state of Washington to carry them. Washington State, not as much. And then you have Stanford, which has as much money as any college. And then Arizona, where would they go in Arizona State? Would they entertain joining the Big Ten? Or will they do something with the Big 12? Because those conferences are going to go away. There was a time when Arkansas was in I think they were in the Big 8, along with Colorado and Oklahoma and Texas. Then they became the Big 12. Arkansas went to the SEC. Texas A&M jumped into the SEC. Now Oklahoma and Texas jumping into the SEC. I don't know, outside of money, why USC and UCLA, their closest plane trip in the Big 10, I think, would be Nebraska. That's about 1,500 miles flight for their closest flight. Right now, their furthest flight, if my math is right, is to go up to Washington, and I think that's about 1,500 miles. So what used to be their longest plane flight to play a conference game would now be their shortest plane flight. And when they would play on the West Coast, usually kickoff, if you're given a 1 o'clock kickoff, temperatures right about maybe 60 degrees in the wintertime. In the wintertime, if you're playing Ohio State, Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan, kickoff's going to be down into the 30s. How will West Coast kids do when they practice in 70-degree weather on the West Coast and they fly back to the Midwest for a 30-degree kickoff? Does it carry over the same? Probably not. They're going to have to do that at least 3 times a year. So with Oregon and Washington, they could move also. I mean, there's so much talk about who wants Notre Dame. Notre Dame had the contract with NBC. I think that runs out this decade. Will they be more apt to join the Big Ten? They're right in the backyard. You would think they would do that, because we're going to end up having the haves and the have-nots, where you'll have the bigger schools. You're only going to have one champion every year. They can expand the playoffs, but the TV revenue is what makes people want to leave. Big Ten will take a Notre Dame in a heartbeat. And Notre Dame, no way are they going to play in the SEC, but they did play in the ACC, and they did that for a year in football and other sports. They've done it. But Notre Dame loves its football and its independence, but the things are changing now where you could be left out, because that's just the way the things are happening in this country. I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. I think it's going to happen whether you think it's good or bad. But I know they're all doing it to have a better education for the college kids. Nothing's more important than an education. But if you think about it, and you're in South Central Los Angeles, the heart of USC, and you want to go to a road game, when I used to work around the Pac-12, people could take the bus, USC, UCLA, they could drive cars. Even if you went north to play Cal or Stanford, they could get in a bus or just drive the car, just about a 5-hour car ride or bus ride. But now your closest conference game is going to be a 1,500 mile to Lincoln, Nebraska. In Lincoln, Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, they have not won a Big Ten championship. They have not won a conference championship since leaving the Big 12. Former Big 8, Big 12. They got the officials and the good old boys. They're not going to let the outsiders in and come over and take over. You think USC is going to go into the Big 12 or the Big 10 and win a conference championship right away with those Big 10 officials and all the landscape and the good old boys determining, hey, this is our territory. They don't take too kind to you Westerners. I remember watching the Beverly Hillbillies about the new millionaire. His name is Jed or something like that. They came out from Oklahoma in the Dust Bowl, and they came to Beverly Hills. And they struck oil, and they made them rich. They moved to Beverly Hills. But they were always looked at as outsiders. I think Oklahoma and Texas will be looked at as outsiders in the big SEC, the same way A&M has been looked at on as outsiders. Arkansas has only won that conference one time, I believe, since joining the SEC. A&M has never won it. So how much luck will Oklahoma and Texas have when they go? In fact, Alabama plays at Texas this year in football. That's a marquee game to see Alabama going to Texas and play in front of 102,000. Burnt orange. Should be a great environment deep in the heart of Texas. Oklahoma, same thing. Are they going to be given the latitude that Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, LSU have gotten in that conference? Probably not. Florida. If you look at SEC teams that have played for national championship in the last 20 years, Alabama, of course, LSU, Auburn, Georgia last year, and Florida. That's 5 programs of their 14. Now they're going to add 2 more teams. A&M hasn't done it. Neither has Missouri nor Arkansas. And now when you have the Big Ten, only one team, actually two, have played for a national championship out of the Big Ten since they've had the Final Four, and that's Ohio State. They won one. They beat Oregon, and they also beat Alabama in a playoff game. And then Michigan last year got beat by Georgia. No other Big Ten team has played for a national championship. So how does the Pac-12 win? Because of TV money. I think they're going to get up with $100 million, where they were in the Pac-12, they would get around $30 million. It's all about the money. But it's going to change. We got to embrace it. Just like teams move from East Coast to West Coast, Golden State Warriors, they started in Philadelphia, came out to San Francisco, then they went to Oakland, now they're back in San Francisco. I believe the Cleveland Browns over the Los Angeles Rams started in Cleveland. Came to Los Angeles, went to St. Louis, now they're back in Inglewood. Oakland Raiders, look at where they were in Oakland, now they're down in Las Vegas. 49ers, they have started out at Kezar Stadium, but they stayed in the Bay Area, went to Candlestick Park, now Levi Stadium. Chargers started in Los Angeles, went down to San Diego, and then back to Los Angeles. So things will change, and we know change is always going to be a part of sports. So for people that wonder what's going to happen to the Fresno States, the Boise States, the Nevada Renos, the UNLVs on the West Coast, well, ask yourself this question. What's going to happen to North Carolina, Duke, Clemson, Louisville, Virginia, Boston College on the East Coast? Are they going to join part of the Big Ten and the SEC? Or will they form another conference that's kind of coast to coast? I remember there was a time when the 49ers played in the NFC West, as they still do, but they also had the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers part of the NFC West in the NFL football. Isn't that something? So we got to see how it works out. It just they will align different teams based on money, not fans. But how will people from South Central Los Angeles, where the heart of USC is located, will they really travel across country to see a game in Happy Valley to play on the Penn State Nittany Lions? Will they get on a bus and go up to East Lansing, Michigan to watch USC and Michigan State? Will they go from UCLA to go up and see UCLA take on Wisconsin? I cut my teeth in the Pac-10 at the time, seeing all the California schools. Where will Stanford and Cal end up? Two great academic schools. But they've also had their run-ins. Stanford's been in the Rose Bowl, I think, in the past decade. They went there under David Shaw. Cal hasn't been there in many, many moons since the Cap era. Arizona State, where will they go? They used to be a part of the WAC. They're going to be in the Pac-10. Will they go to the Big 12? Who knows? What's going to happen to Baylor, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU? What will happen to those schools? Will they merge with the Pac-12 or the Pac-10 remaining schools? They're not going to be out there on their own. They're not going to be independent. BYU just left to join the Big 12 for football coming up soon this decade. What happens to them? And the big question is, only one team's going to win a championship. Why are we moving around all over the country? It's for money. And money talks. And TV rights, it talks. SEC is big in football. They've gotten a lot of kids from all over the country. Ohio State, these are national programs. USC, Florida, they're all national programs. They recruit from sea to shining sea. But no matter what it is, there will be some people left out because they just don't have a big draw for football. And it's gonna shape how things change. I don't think it's gonna be for the baseball teams and the basketball teams, and how about the swim programs, track and field programs. I think a lot of those schools will stay. This is my opinion, but I don't see a university sending every athletic program from USC or UCLA back to Rutgers for a track and field event, or tennis, or a swimming event or a basketball event or a baseball event. I don't see that. I think it's football centric, and football, things have changed with NIL. No one's talking about that now. It's about the money grab for these college coaches, and the kids are going to get the best education money can buy. Right. All's fair and level work. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July, especially my Native American friends and my African American friends too. Because a lot of people have issues. Women's rights, everybody has issues right now. We all have issues. And sports sometimes can be a panacea for issues. No matter what it is, you gotta keep hope alive. The great Jesse Jackson makes a lot more sense now that I understand it. But maybe if we can, sports can bring people together through all the madness, and for all the people that are celebrating the 4th of July, and even for the garbage that went on with people needing real guns to express whatever they were trying to express. Just don't understand it. We got to always try to keep the peace. If keeping the peace is good for you, it's good for me. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali see, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. All these Big C burgers make me lie to my feet. My beautiful mother always says there's no excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help. Because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as I always tell you, I know some people want to go to jail. That's why they drink and drive. Take away the keys, call a cab, call Uber, whatever it is, don't let people you care about drink and drive. But I know some people would do what they want to do anyway. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Keep hope alive, keep hope alive. Great Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive.